Left to go before the election, and today both candidates turned to Fox News to get their messages out to voters. Now, this split screen essentially came about because, let's remember, Donald Trump refused to debate Kamala Harris on Fox, on the friendly right-leaning network. Instead, as a sort of consolation prize, I suppose, Fox hosted a softball event for the former president this morning. Billed as a town hall on women's issues, they failed to mention the audience was filled with Republican women who already backed Trump. Harris, however, agreed to sit down for a very different kind of real interview this evening with Fox host Bret Baier. Now, Fox likes to portray Baier as part of the more straight news side of the network, but always remember election night in 2020 when he urged network executives to overrule the decision desk calling Arizona for Joe Biden in order to make amends with right-wing viewers. He admitted to pressing Fox News to slow walk their calls, including in Nevada, which ultimately also went to Biden. And so tonight, that Bret Baier came at Kamala Harris with every attack in the Trump playbook, including one moment where he got caught using an edited soundbite of Trump.
If you listen to Donald Trump, if you watch any of his rallies, he's the one who tends to demean and belittle and diminish the American people. He's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within, talking about the American people, suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people.
We asked that question to the former president today. Harris Faulkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. No, but think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
So,
Brett, I'm sorry, and with all due respect, that clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
Well, he was asked about that specific...
No, that's not what you just showed. In all fairness and respect to you...
that was the question that we asked him.
You didn't show that, and here's the bottom line. He has repeated it many times, and you and I both know that. And you and I both know that he has talked about turning the American military on the American people. He has talked about going after people who are engaged in peaceful protest. He has talked about locking people up because they disagree with him. This is a democracy. And in a democracy, the President of the United States, in the United States of America, should be willing to be able to handle criticism without saying he'd lock people up for doing it. And this is what is at stake, which is why you have someone like the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff saying what Mark Milley has said about Donald Trump being a threat to the United States of America.
He's quoted in the Bob Woodward book that way, yes.
No, not Bob Woodward, just Bret Baier just used a soundbite to try to clear Donald Trump of saying a thing in which he cut out the part where he says it. Watch.
It is the enemy from within, and they're very dangerous. They're Marxists and communists and fascists, and they're sick. I use a guy like Adam Schiff because they made up the Russia hoax. It took 2 years to solve the problem. Absolutely nothing was done wrong, et cetera, et cetera. They're dangerous for our country. We have China, we have Russia, we have all these countries. If you have a smart president, they can all be handled. The more difficult are, the Pelosi's, these people, they're so sick. And they're so evil. If they would spend their time trying to make America great again, it would be so easy to make this country great. But when I heard about that, they were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. No, but think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
All right.
They're the threat to democracy.
You see what they did there? On their own network. Like we have recording equipment here at 30 Rock, a lot of other places where we can just grab that. So he repeated, they are the enemy within. They're sick people. They're evil. He repeated it. And then Bret Baier's like, let me play you what he said today. He just cut out the big chunk. Now, in front of that crowd of Republican women, Fox host Harris Faulkner gave Trump the opportunity to climb down from his fascist rhetoric. That's why he was being asked that. Guess what? Trump wouldn't take it. He never takes it because he actually believes and wants to do what he says he wants to do. Then Bret Baier tried again to clean it up for Trump with the selectively edited clip. It is the same playbook we see over and over from Fox. Kamala Harris called them out. She wasn't about to let Fox get away with it. And I think we all know that after this, Donald Trump has no choice but to come on MSNBC for an interview. Stuart Stevens, a former Republican strategist and senior advisor